Hey there, everybody. My name is Zach, and this is the Nostalgic Gamers Club, where we just look at old games and toys and hang out and have fun. And today I'm playing a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time randomizer, which you might have seen me play before. And I just wanted to talk today about the idea of growth. I'm also sorry if I sound like I'm like Death himself, because I am, I'm stuffy. It's cold. It's cold in Michigan. But when I'm talking about growth, I'm talking growth on YouTube, on TikTok, rest in peace, even though it's kind of back, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. And I want to start with a little bit of background. So for about the last, 11 years or so, I have been wildly focused on growth, like borderline to the point of obsession. I got to wait it out here till the morning. But I honestly just wanted the most subscribers, the most followers. At one point, I even bought an Instagram page that had like 50,000-ish followers, and I grew it to almost 80,000 within that year with the help of a buddy of mine. But we'll come back to that. But before that 11-ish years, my mindset was totally different. I didn't care much about subscriber growth. I just only cared about growing my skill set, growing personally, making cool artistic stuff. And what I noticed is that I cared more about making good content regardless of who was watching, if that makes any sense. Like, I didn't care if my video got 20 views or 20,000 views. I mean, it would have been cool, back then to get 20,000 views. But I truly just cared about making the best content I could possibly make. Oh, hell yeah, we hatched a chicken. Did y'all know about that trick? Oh, oops. So I kind of had to ask myself, like, what changed in that time? Because I really was so focused on growth for so long. And at a glance, the content that I was making before, like 2014-ish, it was mostly sketch comedies and like short films and indie albums and things like that, like things that were just fun for me to make. And at that time, I think the most views I ever got on a sketch was 10,000, which, like, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of views. It happened over the course of like 10 years, but, that was still a lot of views for me. But I mean, apart from that standout sketch, my typical short film would maybe get 1,000 views. The album that I put out, I think, got like 100 or so downloads on iTunes back in the day, which again was great. Like that is perfect. I wasn't making those things for growth, which is, that's the whole point of this. But back then the content was just so satisfying to make that I didn't care if it blew up. And it was satisfying to the point that even today I find myself like reaching out to buddies and seeing if we can just go and make some sketch comedies or some short films or something. Where's this chicken? No, I'm still getting used to these controls. Wakey. But anyway, around like 2014, 2015, I switched what I was making. And it wasn't all at once, but I gradually started making videos that were more like how-to videos that were very algorithm feeding and algorithm friendly videos. I kind of stopped making things that felt fun to make in favor of making things that would perform well and get a lot of views. And shocker, what happened? I didn't grow an audience. So, because the content felt forced. So not only was I, making content that I wasn't crazy about, but I was also not growing an audience the way that I wanted to. I'm also trying to read some notes that I jotted down while doing this sneaking section, so I have a feeling I'm going to get caught. Oh no. So I want to go back to that Instagram page that I was talking about, because that was a very, kind of a pivotal point for me, I feel like. Because like I said, I was not growing an audience and I was not working on the content that I wanted to work on. And when I say I bought it, it was kind of a strange situation. I had become friends with the page owner because we had run a couple of ads on the page prior. He was trying to get rid of it, and we basically agreed that I would pay him out of the ad revenue that the page made until we reached an agreed upon figure. And it did help that I had my buddy Dave helping me run the page as well. That was, I don't think I would have been able to do it without him helping to engage on all that. Because again, it didn't feel like we were actually making anything of value. We were just kind of resharing memes, which, is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but it just wasn't, it wasn't satisfying. It didn't feel like we were actually creating anything of value, because we weren't. And eventually the page sort of turned into an ad machine, which was, not fun at all. And we did kind of fall off of it, and so did our audience. And as it stands right now, I think we're actually at fewer followers on that Instagram page than we were when we started it. So, all in all, apart from a few bucks that we made, that time was mostly wasted. And I say wasted lightly because I learned a lot through the whole process. I learned how to manage an Instagram page. I learned a lot about marketing in the process, but I gained zero creative fulfillment throughout that whole process. So anyway, over the past year or two, especially in this past year, I kind of decided, screw it. I'm going to make the things that I want to make because I want to make them. And I've talked about that a little bit in the past, but the other thing that I really wanted to lean into about that is I'm not trying to grow an audience. Now, don't get me wrong. If an audience grows while I'm making the things that I want to make, while I'm, playing Ocarina of Time Randomizer and talking about, the things that are important to me, great. And if I'm recording a video about, the box art for the Grinch and that grows an audience, amazing. That's fantastic. And honestly, that would be like a dream come true because I love this sort of gaming community, but I would be so untrue to myself if I was building this channel and this content and doing all these creative works just for the sake of growing an audience, if that makes sense. Because I'd be lying if I said I didn't care about it at all. So with that, my commitment was I'm just going to make the things I want to make. I'm not going to focus on audience growth. And along with making the things that I want to make, I'm going to make the best things that I can make. I'm going to put high effort into the things that I want to make because it feels good. Honestly, it just feels good. Don't hit me. It just feels good to make things that you're proud of. A long time ago, I had this vague idea of YouTube kind of being my dream job in big air quotes. And then to attain that dream job, I had to kind of create this scalable, sellable content. Do I have Deku sticks? I do. Let's put those right there. That's fine. But yeah, so the dream job being scalable, sellable content, I had the realization that that's not the dream job. That's just a job. Like literally what you do for your day job is you're trading your time and your knowledge for money so that way you can make a living and have some stuff in your bank account. And if you're a content creator, even with growing an audience, you are still just buying yourself a job because part of the job is just maintaining that audience growth. I don't think I can really do anything here right now. I think I gotta go back. Oh no. Oh. So for any of you creative types out there watching this, I just so heavily encourage you to stop focusing on growth as the metric of your success, especially when it comes to creative endeavors. I genuinely think the only measure of success with creative work is that if you, as the artist, feel fulfilled in what you've created and that you can elicit some sort of emotion, even just for yourself. If other people latch onto that emotion and feel it too, that's incredible. I do think that it is a big part of art, is being able to convey something that someone else can feel and relate to. But that's not the only purpose of it. If you're only doing it for the sake of eliciting emotion in someone else, you're not getting any sort of creative personal fulfillment out of that. You're going to burn out. And trust me, it's coming from someone who did that. My last YouTube channel, which grew very fast, I had a couple videos that went viral. It was, calling it art is a stretch, but it was like meme type content, and it was fun. I used my background and my skills as a video editor and my background as a voice actor to sort of, I guess we can do this one, to sort of make these fun voiceover, bad translation videos. And it was a lot of fun, but I found myself one day kind of freaking out and having this like existential crisis basically, because I realized I was only doing it to make another viral video. I wasn't making videos for myself anymore. And the video that made me realize it was, in short, if you are a YouTube creator, there's a lot of people out there saying like you need to always be topical. You need to be the first person to review something, yada, yada, yada. And to an extent, that is true. There's a lot of truth to that. But there was a new game that had just come out, and I didn't want to play it. Like, I was not in the mood to play this game. But I bought it, and I played it, and I made a video on it, and I took all this time out of my day and this money out of my bank account to make content that I wasn't jazzed about. And I realized that I was doing it to feed an algorithm to grow an audience for no purpose other than to serve itself. And getting back to the idea of burnout, that will happen. I burned out so freaking fast on that channel. It was unreal. So I guess case in point is just to start creating for yourself and see where that goes, because I think you'll be surprised as to how far that gets you. Because realistically, who cares if only 10 people see your video or listen to your album or whatever? I forgot how to get over there. Because those 10 people might genuinely have their life changed by your video. And yeah, Mr. Beast gets, 100 million views on every video, or 300 million, or however many he gets now. But the vast majority of people who are watching Mr. Beast's videos forget what the video is even about by the time it's over. And given with however many followers he has now, sure, he's reaching a huge audience, he's making a living, but the creative fulfillment for him may or may not be there. And I say may or may not because I genuinely have no idea. I'm not Mr. Beast. I don't follow a lot of his stuff. these days. But all I can say for sure is that for myself, the creative fulfillment was not there. And honestly, I've found myself to be more personally affected by smaller creators most of the time anyway. One example that comes to mind right away is this band who, maybe you've never heard of them. I feel like a hipster with this band. Their name is Farewell Flight, and they never grew to insane stardom. They actually opened for a high school band when I was in high school, and it was such a fun concert. And, when my buddy and I heard them, we were like, they were just opening for a high school band, and these were, they were probably in their early 20s at this point. And me and my buddy heard them, and we were like, oh my gosh, these guys rock. Like, this absolutely rips. And they had some success. I mean, they had a few songs that went big, and the lead singer is now doing a lot of solo content that's really good. And that seems to be like his main thing, like what he's doing to kind of make a living. But eventually, they broke up, and they broke up when they didn't have a crazy huge audience. And to kind of repeat what I was saying earlier, their music literally changed my life. It changed my taste in music. It changed how I wrote music. It inspired me to write short films. And, we put it in all of our sketch comedies. It was so influential on me, and I'm willing to bet that you've never heard of them. So does that mean that their art wasn't valuable? Or does it mean that they weren't successful because they didn't have a huge audience? Where the heck is this last cuckoo? But I'd venture to say that no, it does not make them unsuccessful at all. Like not even a little bit. Because their music easily had the most lasting impact on me more than any other band that I've listened to in my life. The lyrics still stick with me. Getting to know them personally still sticks with me. Knowing the deeper meaning behind their lyrics that like the lead singer explained to me in person still sticks with me. And 2 decades later, I still listen to their music more than I listen to most other bands. So how important is growth? Honestly, I think the answer is kind of segmented, because audience growth for the sake of, getting some sort of vanity metric like subscribers or getting a YouTube play button, in my opinion, is not important at all. It's almost negligible. But if you're aiming for personal growth, emotional growth, and creative growth, then I think that growth is honestly one of the most important things in the world. At least to me. There he is. There's the last cuckoo. Okay, I'm not going to leave you guys high and dry with seeing what I get for this part of the randomizer, because I've just been freaking rambling. Just prior to this past year or so, I was so focused on growth that... Okay, that wasn't worth it. But I was so focused on growth that I just wasn't making what I wanted to make. And now that I'm making the things that feel fulfilling and great to me, I finally feel like I can be myself. And I feel like I can make things that are artistic to me and that are fulfilling to me. And along with that, and I know this is a struggle for a lot of creators, myself included, it's really easy to feel discouraged when you're not seeing growth and you're making the things you want to make. So like the example that comes to mind right away is, this idea of like the dip. And there's a whole book on the dip, which I'm actually about to start reading. But, you're going to not grow before you grow. You're going to have a little spike at the beginning, and then you're not going to grow for a while. And that's a hard position to be in, because like when I first started this channel, I wasn't getting a lot of views. I was getting like maybe 100 views per video. And sometimes I still get 100 views per video. It's not an unrealistic thing to have happen. But it can be discouraging when you're making the things you want to make. You're enjoying the process, which is also super important, of the things that you want to make, and the audience growth isn't there at all. Because I think there is this sort of part of all artists where you're like, well, hey, I'm not doing this for audience growth, but I'm still not seeing any growth. And it's super discouraging. So I would just say, if you are in that spot and you're not seeing the growth you want, to the best of your ability, don't worry about it. Focus on the people who are there for you right now. If you're out there and you have your guitar and you're performing at open mic nights, focus on the people that are showing up to those open mic nights. Sure, there are probably 20,000 people who, given the invite, would not show up to the open mic night. But if you have 5 people who are there, those are 5 people who love your music and who want to hear more. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys. I feel like I have the best little YouTube community in the world on this channel. And if you guys like this type of content, please consider subscribing and come hang out with us on Discord. I don't have like a branded Discord yet, but I do have a link tree. It's linktree/whoinvitedzach. But come hang out with us and, go make some stuff. Go make the things that sound good to you. Okay, enough rambling. I should probably go, do work or something. Do like yard work. I don't know. It's snowing, so I don't really need to do yard work. Did you guys know about this trick? You can roll and then immediately go into first person view to see if it's worth it in here. I can't do it. Okay, all right. Well, anyway, forget it. I'll see you guys later.